So picture this. You're at work trying to focus on your project, but there's this one person. Maybe they ignore your messages, maybe they take credit for your ideas, maybe they just make everything harder. And you think, why is this happening? What did I do wrong?
You probably didn't do anything wrong. Difficult coworkers exist in almost every workplace. And here's the thing, learning to handle them is actually one of the most important career skills you can develop.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're talking about something that almost everyone faces at some point, difficult coworkers. If you're new to the workplace, or even if you've been working for a while, this episode is going to help you understand why some people are hard to work with, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it.
By the end of today, you'll know how to recognize different types of difficult behavior, how to respond calmly, and how to protect your energy and your reputation at work.
So let's start with the obvious question. Why are some coworkers so difficult?
Great question. There are many reasons. Sometimes people are stressed. Sometimes they're insecure about their own work. Sometimes they just never learned how to communicate well. And sometimes, honestly, they're dealing with problems outside of work that we don't see.
Right, so it's not always personal.
Exactly. Most of the time, it's not about you at all. But even when you know that, it still affects you. It makes work uncomfortable. It drains your energy.
Yes, and I think for beginners, this is really confusing, because in school, if someone was mean, you could just avoid them. But at work, you have to see this person every day.
That's the hard part. You can't just walk away. You have to work together. So the solution is not about avoiding them. It's about managing the situation.
Okay, so before we get into solutions, can we talk about the types of difficult coworkers? Because I think people behave badly in different ways.
Absolutely. Let me give you a few examples. First, there's the credit stealer. This is someone who takes your ideas and presents them as their own. Maybe you suggest something in a meeting, and later they tell the boss it was their idea.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Very. Then there's the gossip. This person talks about others behind their back. They spread rumors, they create drama. Working with them feels unsafe because you never know what they're saying about you.
Yeah, and that creates a really negative environment.
It does. Another type is the micromanager. Even if they're not your boss, they try to control how you do your work. They question every decision. They don't trust you.
That must be exhausting.
It is. And then there's the passive-aggressive person. They don't say what they really think. Instead, they use sarcasm, or they ignore you, or they agree to help but then don't follow through.
So they're not directly rude, but you can feel the negativity.
Exactly. And finally, there's the person who just doesn't do their work. You end up doing extra because they're always late, always making excuses, always missing deadlines.
Okay, so those are the main types. Now the big question. How do you actually handle these people?
Let's go through it step by step. The first rule is this: stay calm. Don't react emotionally in the moment.
Even if you're really upset?
Especially if you're upset. Because when you react with anger or frustration, two things happen. One, you lose control of the situation. Two, you might say or do something that hurts your reputation.
So what should you do instead?
Pause. Take a breath. If someone says something rude in a meeting, don't snap back. Just stay quiet for a moment. You can respond later when you're calm.
That makes sense, but it's hard to do.
It is hard, but it gets easier with practice, and the benefit is huge. When you stay calm, you look professional, you look mature, and that actually protects you.
Okay, so step 1 is stay calm. What's next?
Step 2, try to understand why they're acting this way. I'm not saying you have to excuse bad behavior, but understanding helps you respond better.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say someone is micromanaging you. Maybe they're doing it because they're afraid of making mistakes. Maybe their boss is putting pressure on them. If you understand that, you can reassure them instead of getting defensive.
So you might say something like, I know this project is important. I'll keep you updated every step of the way.
Exactly. You're showing them they can trust you, and that might reduce the micromanaging.
Okay, I like that. What's step 3?
Step 3, set boundaries. This is really important. A boundary is a line you draw to protect yourself. It's about what you will and won't accept.
How do you do that without being rude?
You do it calmly and clearly. For example, if someone keeps interrupting you in meetings, you can say, I'd like to finish my thought, then I'll hear your perspective. That's polite but firm.
And if someone is always dumping their work on you?
You can say, I'm happy to help when I have time, but right now I'm focused on my own deadlines. You're not saying no in a mean way, you're just being honest about your limits.
That's really helpful, because I think a lot of beginners feel like they can't say no.
They feel that way because they want to be liked, they want to be seen as a team player. But here's the truth. If you don't set boundaries, people will keep taking advantage of you, and that's not good for you or for your work.
Right, so setting boundaries is actually professional.
Completely. It shows that you respect yourself and your time.
Okay, what about documentation? I've heard people say you should document everything when dealing with difficult coworkers.
Yes, documentation means keeping a record. If someone is consistently causing problems, write it down. Save emails. Take notes after conversations. Include dates and details.
Why is this important?
Because if the situation gets worse, you have evidence. Let's say someone keeps taking your credit. If you have emails showing that you sent the idea first, you can show that to your manager if needed.
So it's like protecting yourself.
Exactly. You hope you never need it, but if you do, you're prepared.
Okay, let me ask you this. Should you talk directly to the difficult coworker, or should you go to your boss first?
Good question. In most cases, try talking to the person first, because if you go to the boss without trying to solve it yourself, it can look like you can't handle conflict.
But what if talking to them doesn't work?
Then you escalate. You go to your manager or HR. But when you do, be professional. Don't complain. Don't say, this person is terrible. Instead, explain the impact on your work.
Can you give an example of how to say that?
Sure, you might say, I've tried to resolve this directly, but I'm still having trouble collaborating with this person. It's affecting my ability to meet deadlines, and I'd like your advice on how to move forward.
Oh, that's good. You're focusing on the work, not the personality.
Exactly. That's the key. Always focus on the behavior and the impact, not on personal feelings.
All right, let me share a quick story that I think will make this all feel more real. This is about someone named Priya. She just graduated and got her first job in a marketing company.
She was so excited.
I can imagine. But there was one coworker, let's call him Rahul. He was on the same team. And from the beginning, Rahul was cold to her. He wouldn't answer her questions, he wouldn't include her in group chats, and in meetings he would interrupt her or dismiss her ideas.
That's tough, especially for someone new.
Priya felt terrible. She thought maybe she wasn't good enough. Maybe she didn't belong there. She started doubting herself.
That's what happens. Difficult coworkers don't just make work hard, they mess with your confidence.
Right. So Priya tried to be extra nice. She offered to help Rahul with his projects. She complimented his work, but nothing changed. He was still cold.
So what did she do?
She talked to a mentor outside of work, someone who had more experience. And the mentor told her, stop trying to make him like you. Just focus on doing great work.
Smart advice.
Priya decided to follow it. She stopped worrying about Rahul. She stopped trying to win him over. Instead, she focused on her projects. She made sure her work was excellent. She built good relationships with other teammates.
And what happened?
After a few months, her manager noticed her work. He praised her in a meeting. And you know what? Rahul's attitude didn't matter anymore because Priya had proven herself. She felt confident again.
That's a perfect example. Sometimes the best way to handle a difficult coworker is to focus on yourself. Do your job well. Build your reputation. Don't waste energy trying to change someone who doesn't want to change.
Exactly. And later, Priya found out that Rahul had acted the same way with other new people. It wasn't about her, it was just who he was.
Which brings us back to what we said earlier. It's usually not personal.
Right. Okay, so now let's talk about practical tips. What are some specific things our listeners can do starting today?
First tip, don't take it personally. I know we keep saying this, but it's so important. When someone is difficult, remind yourself that their behavior is about them, not you.
Second tip.
Choose your battles. Not every rude comment needs a response. Not every conflict needs to be solved. Sometimes it's better to let small things go and save your energy for bigger issues.
That's wise. What's the third tip?
Build alliances. This means creating good relationships with other coworkers. When you have allies, you feel less alone, and if you ever need support, they'll be there for you.
So focus on the positive relationships, not just the difficult one.
Exactly. Fourth tip, communicate clearly. A lot of workplace conflict happens because of misunderstandings, so when you talk to coworkers, be clear and direct. Don't assume they know what you mean.
Can you give a quick example?
Sure, instead of saying, "Can you help with this sometime?" say, "Can you review this document by Thursday afternoon?" Clear communication prevents confusion.
Love that. What's the fifth tip?
Take care of yourself. Dealing with difficult people is draining, so make sure you're doing things outside of work that recharge you. Exercise, hobbies, time with friends. Don't let work negativity take over your whole life.
That's really important because I think people forget that.
They do. They bring the stress home. They think about it constantly. But you need boundaries between work and personal life.
Okay, so let me recap what we've learned today. First, understand that difficult coworkers exist everywhere. It's normal. You're not alone.
Second, stay calm. Don't react emotionally. Take a pause before you respond.
Third, set boundaries. Be polite but firm about what you will and won't accept.
And fourth, focus on your own work and reputation. Sometimes the best response is simply doing great work and building positive relationships with others.
Before we finish, I want to say something to anyone listening who's struggling with this right now. It's okay to find this hard. Handling difficult people is a skill. You're not born knowing how to do it. You learn it over time.
Absolutely. And every difficult situation you face is actually teaching you something. It's making you stronger. It's preparing you for bigger challenges in your career.
So be patient with yourself. Try these strategies. See what works for you. And remember, you deserve to work in an environment where you feel respected.
If you found this episode helpful, take a moment to think about one thing you can apply this week. Maybe it's staying calm in a tough moment. Maybe it's setting one small boundary. Just pick one thing.
And if you want to keep learning about career skills, we'll be here next time with another topic. Until then, take care of yourself. You've got this.
You really do. See you next time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more daily podcast video.